Hello, this is Reverend Dore in Sarasota, Florida at the Awakened Heart Center for Spiritual Living, teaching religious science, which is the teaching of the science of mind. Today we want to talk about creating a life. You know, we're all born into this world by the delivery system of mom and dad, but I believe that we were created before the beginning of time and that we're eternal beings. What we call birth is merely a new chapter in an eternal saga. I believe that we are spirit beings who, from time to time, choose to take a tour, go to school, or take a vacation to explore life in a physical body. I believe that we never really die, but we'll live on as long as the Creator who made us does, which should be eternity, I would think. Oh yes, the body most certainly dies, and the ego dies with it. Our current sense of self and its personality will die with our body, but not our soul or our mind. At least that's my view of it. Our consciousness lives on forever, and that's the essence of who and what we really are, isn't it? I don't think this. I know it for me as my truth at the deepest level, almost as if I'd been there and returned to tell about it, and perhaps I have. Doctors tell me that on one occasion when I almost drowned, I should have been legally dead, but I wasn't. And I sure saw a lot of lights and had a conversation with my dead grandmother, so maybe I was on my way to the other side. Who knows? We'll never know. In any event, it left me with a strong belief that there is life after death and that this is not all there is. I don't believe we're our bodies. They're only locomotion and life support. We're not our personalities either. They were developed as we grew to adulthood. They say a child by the age of 7 has pretty much created their basic personality. We are the totality of our consciousness, the self-awareness that comes only from the mind, and that's not the brain now, the mind. We are expressions and creations of the great architect, the divine mind, the maker of all that exists, that ground of being or higher power that we've nicknamed God. God can be felt as a presence in your mind while we're in this body. I've felt God inside of me operating many times. And we can converse with this great soul. I do it every day, and I get answers too. Not in Charlton Heston's voice, but my own, if we open ourselves to a relationship with the divine. But only after shedding the bonds of the body can we really reunite in matter with what is our Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, which is God. We did not create our current self, but we can and do create our experience of life. Who else is present every second of our life but us? Who else has the power of thought, choice, and action in our lives but us? Other people certainly may influence us, but we are perfectly free to reject or accept that influence and our ideas. I'm going to share a rather painful example from my own life to make a point. My mother was a fine lady of the Old South, born in 1911, who never hated anybody in her life. She wished everybody well, but she firmly believed that people of color were not equal to Caucasians, a very common attitude when she was born in 1911 and for many, many decades after. Now, before you think that was only in the South, I will tell you this, that for much of the 20th century, everybody in America thought that people of color were not quite equal to Caucasians, right up until the 70s in most places. You know, I had the choice and the power to agree with her racial attitudes or reject them, because I sure did hear about them as a kid. I didn't reject her, but I did firmly reject her views on race. I just couldn't believe that God would make an inferior race of being. It was hard to go against my dear mother because I loved her dearly, and she's very responsible for a lot of the good in me. But she ended up disowning me about this when I fell in love and married a woman of color. Oh, she thought that was the worst thing ever. But I did not condemn her. She was a product of her time and culture, but that did not mean that she was correct in her views, and I certainly did not have to share them. If you look at the picture that accompanies this post on the internet, if you're on wakeupandlive.net, you will see that's my middle child, Kristen, and I have an older one, older daughter Alana, and a younger son Evan, and they're all beautiful children, all of them successful, and 2 of the 3 are college graduates. Kristen's working on finishing hers now. So I think we've got a great family, and my mother would have loved them had she gotten by her prejudice. Do you think I would have been excused for being a racist in the 1980s with the excuse that my mother made me do it? Of course not. I was responsible for my attitudes and actions, and so are we all. How many of us are passengers in the back seat of our lives, merely living by default? How many of us go along to get along and never take a stand for what we believe and know in our hearts is right, even if it costs us something to do it? We may use the excuse that it was just the way I was raised, or I had a bad childhood. Oh, dear me, haven't we all? I am going to invite each one reading this post to get into the driver's seat of your life, put your hands firmly on the steering wheel, and take control of that life of yours. This is how you may begin. Here are a few simple steps for creating a life. Start by taking responsibility for your life. You'd be amazed how few people really take responsibility for their lives. They point at their ex-wives, their mother, their father, their color, where they were born, whatever, to explain why they don't have the life they have. As long as you believe somebody else did it to you, you were a victim, and victims are, by definition, powerless. I'll invite you right now to say to yourself, I made this life, and therefore I can change it right here and right now. You know, if you wrote the book, you can sure rewrite it, can't you? If you didn't, then you're in deep trouble. There's nothing you can do, is there? It's never too late. You can change your entire life at 12 years old or 97. Only you have the power to change your life. No one else can do it for you, not even God. You were given free will by the Creator, and he or she never violates that sacred legacy. You're a human being. You're part and parcel of the Lord of the universe. You're not an automaton or a divine plaything. You are the driving wheel of your life, and you are magnificent beyond your understanding. My job as a religious science minister is to assist you in awakening you to your divine nature and your awesome power as a human being. I'm also here to assist you in helping you to create the life you've always dreamed of but may have believed was way beyond your reach. Nothing is beyond your reach except your lack of faith in it. Now next, we got to learn the rules. Rule number 1. Thoughts are things, and they create everything that exists. They are the building blocks of the universe. God created this planet and everything on it with a thought and spoke the word to bring it into form. And we do exactly the same thing to create our lives. Words are thoughts given physical form and thus are very, very powerful. I want you to understand something. Understand that you think and speak your life into being. Therefore, do not think or speak anything that you would not want to personally experience in your life. In other words, if you don't want to live with it, don't think it, don't speak it, or don't do it. Rule number 2. Your choices and actions are your thoughts and words carried into physical reality. You make your life choices with great care. You may have to live with them for the rest of your life. It's that important. Failure to make decisions, which a lot of people do because they're afraid of making a mistake, is really a choice to keep going down the path you're on right now. And if you don't like that path, you're going to stay on it if you don't make a decision to change. Remember, your thoughts and words are loaded. Treat them like the powerful things they are. They are the building blocks of your life. Rule number 3. Learn and obey the mother rule of life. There's one I call the mother rule. That is, what you sow you shall surely reap, but not usually from the field in which you did the sowing. In other words, what you do is going to come back to you, but not necessarily from the person you did it to. Sowing and reaping is another way of expressing the Eastern idea of karma. Everything is in balance in the universe, in the spiritual and physical universe. And when the balance is upset by natural forces or by you or I, it must be corrected. This self-correcting system returns to you pressed down and overflowing just what you did or said or thought. It's not payback. It's redressing the balance. Spiritual justice, is a dish best served cold, in that it comes when you least expect it. The Italians say that about revenge. It's a dish best served cold because you never know when it's going to come back to you. Well, karmic justice is a little bit like that too. It all operates according to law. It's not punishment. It's not reward. It's just giving you back what you put out to redress the balance. It's not the whim, the caprice, or the temper tantrum of a superhuman in the sky. It's merely the operation of divine law. Now, your job is to know and obey divine law. If you do, you can create anything you want. If you know nothing more about life than these 3 rules, and you followed them in a disciplined and consistent manner, you could and would create any life that you could imagine, believe in, and feel worthy to accept. That last one's important. You can believe it, you can imagine it, but if you think you're a piece of garbage and are not worthy to accept anything good, then you won't get it. You won't allow it into your life. You'll find a way to sabotage it. I know this seems too simple. There's got to be more to it than that. Where's the magic show? Where's the guy in the sky returning to earth in a cloud of glory to usher in the new Jerusalem? I never understood that. The old Jerusalem wasn't much of a place in the first place. Why would we want a new one? That just isn't how it works, though, dear friends. If you need the show, enjoy it. But this is how the universe and life really works. God is a creator, not a parent. Your life is up to you. He gave you the building blocks. He created you, and now you make what you will out of it. Get on with the program and stop wasting another minute. We have work to do in this life. You and I are both on a mission from God. Let's get to work. Until we're together again, bye-bye for now.